everybody. Oh, wait a minute. Full stop. Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to this masterclass by Ray Chambers. Now, Ray entered teaching by accident as the result of a last-minute computer science degree placement, but he soon found that he loved it. At this time, ICT was fairly undeveloped, so Ray started developing software using Microsoft Connect to make lessons more engaging. Inspired by this, as well as a leap in academic achievement from his students, Ray began sharing his work and resources with other teachers. After presenting at the Microsoft European Innovative Teachers Conference in 2012, he suddenly discovered that he had an eager global audience. Shortly after this, the UK government changed the ICT curriculum to computer science, and he was asked to contribute to a guide to help teachers who are fearful of the changes. He went further, though, by creating a YouTube channel that has had over 250,000 hits. He continued to push the boundaries, leading to the BBC asking him to contribute to its microbit teacher resources. And recognition for his work has included the 2013-14 Microsoft Innovative Expert Educator Award, and in 2015, the UK's National Teaching Award for Innovative Use of Technology. I'm going to pass you over to Ray. I'm a little worried because he's taken his shoes off, so he's going to do something in his socks. Over to you.
Thank you. How are you all doing? So I'm going to do something slightly different with you guys today. I'm going to be teaching you computer science, but through the form of dance. Now, a lot of my students, when they came in to do computer science lessons, many of them thought that they were going to have lessons where you sit at a desk and you write from a textbook and you just listen to the teacher go deaf by PowerPoint. Yeah? How many of you have experienced deaf by PowerPoint before? It's not fun, is it? Okay. 1 minute. Is the mic working? Hello? Okay? That fine? Okay. So we've all experienced death by PowerPoint before. There's nothing more boring in a lesson when you have to sit there and have somebody drone at you on and on and on. And that disengages students. So I spoke to my students and I said to them, what sort of things make lessons more fun for you, make you want to be there? Because if our students are the most important thing, their voice is what counts. And my students have always said to me, we like to get up out of our seats. We like to go and experiment with things. So I would do stuff like take them out of the classroom, get them scanning QR codes around the building. I would get them actually interviewing people, going and expanding their knowledge outside of the classroom. And we would do a lot of role play. Now, one thing that I'm going to be teaching you today is about algorithms. Now, the computer science curriculum came into the UK roughly about 3 or 4 years ago. And computer science has been replaced because it used to be ICT. And in ICT, what you learn about is the application of it, how you use things like Word, PowerPoint, Excel. Now, there is a need for that in the curriculum because they need these skills to go on to industry. But the government brought in computing, and we had to find a way to actually balance that and make it engaging. So I decided with my lessons to start teaching them some of the computational thinking through the form of dance. Now, one of the things that, if you'd like to contact me or tweet me after this, you can Lanky Boy Ray, I won't give you any hint where that came from. And that's my email address if you want to take a quick snip of that. And if you want to talk or get something global going or a connection going, maybe we could do something through dance and programming through Skype. That would be amazing. But if you want to contact me, there's my details there. what we're going to be learning about today is, so this is a standard objective in the UK. We would be expected to break things down, differentiate things so that all of our students have access, all of our students are making some progress in our lessons. So we're going to look at algorithms. We're going to look at decomposition. We're going to replace the mic. To be continued. It might fall off when I start dancing. Hello? No? Any better? How about I present like this? Okay. So, let's dance. Right. So what we've got here is an abstraction. So some of you may know or may not know, outside of my lessons, I also have an Irish dance school called the Solace School of Irish Dance. And so for all of you yesterday, happy St. Patrick's Day. Hope you. But we do Irish dancing. They enter competitions. And in my spare time, we do things like a ceilidh. Now, a ceilidh is a team dance. Now, what we've got here is a key term, abstraction, okay? And it's basically a simplified model. These are some movements that I'm going to ask for some volunteers to come and perform. So who would like to come up and perform this dance? Do we have any volunteers that would come up? Amazing, come on up, thank you very much. I need 3 more people to do this. 3 more. Come on up, thank you, awesome. 1 more? Amazing, come on up. And if there are 4 more brave people, we can either make this an 8 or a 12. You don't need to take off your shoes if you don't want to. I've just done it to make it. Okay. So what I start off by doing, obviously in my classroom, most of the students don't get away with opting out here. So what I would like, could I have you 2 lovely ladies to stand here? Facing these 2 lovely ladies. So, and would you like to stand in front of them? So if you come forward. So this is our abstraction, what we've got on the board here. There are 4 movements to this dance that they need to be able to do. Okay? Now the first one is called advance and retire. Would you guys like to demonstrate what you think I mean by advance and retire? Pretty straightforward. Well done, all right? Well done. So that's advance and retire, but we do that twice. Okay? So we go in for 2 and back for 2. So it would look like this. 1, 2, and back for 2. Then we do it again. 1, 2, and back. Amazing. Give them a round of applause for that bit. Awesome. Right. Then we have half right and left. Now, this is where it gets a bit, that's fairly straightforward to kind of break down. Half right and left, what do we think that means? Half right and left. Okay? I don't know. Have a go. What do you think it does? Do you want a freestyle? Okay? So we've got a bit of a problem here. Yeah, we've got a bit, because this is not the movement, as much fun as they're having. Okay? No? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to decompose it into smaller, simpler instructions. And that's decomposition, that's a key term we have to teach in computer science. So we're going to decompose this problem. So the thing that was wrong with that is that I weren't giving you detailed instructions. I said, advance, retire, just go. And imagine if we did that in our lessons. The students wouldn't get very far, would they? All right? So I didn't give you instructions. I didn't break that down into smaller steps for you. Sorry. So, advance, retire, holding inside hands. So there was an instruction I did not give them there. So they are holding inside hands. So inside. So can I demonstrate? Yep. Yeah, up. So inside hand. So if you face this way, okay, and stand here. Would you 2 like to hold inside hands and raise your arm up? Fantastic. They've got it, okay? So now they advance and retire, so let's do that. So advance, 1, 2, back for 2, and again, 1, 2, and back for 2. Okay, now we're going to whiz through these a little bit quickly so I can talk to you a little bit about the context of this. So the next thing that we have is half right and left, broken down into some smaller steps, but I'm going to demonstrate it as well. So the ladies, believe it or not, this is a ladies and a gents dance, okay? And the gent is usually on the left, and the lady is on the right. So the ladies sidestep. Now I would need to break that down, decomposition again. Ladies sidestep face to face, swapping places. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's it. And then you jump on the spot, and then the gents do the same. So you now sidestep swapping. That's it. And then jump, 1 and 2. Fantastic. So they got the second movement right. Now, there's only 2 movements left, okay? And the last movement's the best bit. We're going to dance with opposite. Now, we take the person who is opposite us, we hold their right hand in your right hand. So that's it. Amazing. Now, you are going to sidestep apart, okay? Like Moses with the Red Sea. You're going to go apart, okay? So 1, 2, so apart from each other, the couples. So you guys will go to this, yep. And you go that way. Fantastic. And you do that for 7. So let's go back. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Jump, jump, and back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Jump, and jump. And now this is the best bit. You face the person that you were originally with. Oh, I've gone past. And you swing around. So face your partner who you started with. And you're going to swing around. 1, anti-clockwise around each other. 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Amazing, but around each other. Don't worry. Right, so what we're going to do now, all right, the point of that was that computers have programs. And where I weren't giving out the detailed instructions, it was harder for them to understand it. I had to break it down into smaller problems and teach them about composition. I think what we should do is let them try it now. Yeah? So would you like to get into place? Yeah? And I will say the movements, okay? And if you like, I will dance it with you to help. Okay. All right. 6, 7. Off we go. So 1, 2, and back. For 2, and again. 1, 2, and back. Now, ladies, swap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, now you go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then jump. And now apart. 3, 4, 5, 6. Jump, jump, and then back in. Now swing around. Go for it. That's it. I think we should give them a round of applause. Thank you so much. Thank you. So that's one method that I use. So obviously, when we do that dance, we can end up having about 12 teams going all the way up your school hall if you want, and you can get a ceilidh doing, and they end up actually going around each other and going up and down the hall. It's great. So the key things you've just learned there: an algorithm, it's a detailed set of instructions. An abstraction, it was the simplified model at the beginning. We broke it down into decomposition, and believe it or not, that dance has repetition because you can continue it on to a new couple and carry on the dance again. So you can teach computer programming through the form of dance. Now, moving on, I would like you to think about your algorithm for your day. What have you done this morning? How did you get up? Did you get out of the bed? I hope so, because you're all here, so thank you for coming. Did you wake up and go to school? Well, no, we haven't woken up and gone to school. We've come to an amazing conference where we can all exchange ideas. There are 4 ideas up here. How do you make a sandwich? How do you pack a lunch? How do you tie your shoelaces even? I would like you, with the person next to you, and we've got some paper at the end of the tables here, can you write down instructions for a simple task that you do day to day? A simple task. So I have some pens here. There are some paper at the end of your table. So if you need a pen, put your hand up. So you got paper? If you want to work in pairs, you got a piece of paper? Would anybody like a pen? You got, yeah? Yeah, write a simple set of instructions for what you have done this morning. It can be a simple task like eating your food. Any pen? You need some paper? There you go. There you go. Would you like to pass that pen down for me? Thank you so much. Pen and paper, amazing. There we go. Yep. So it could be, I sat up in bed. Could be your first instruction. Pen and paper. Oh, there. There you go. Oh, there you go. Anybody else? So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to do that. So what you got? I like it, I like it. So I don't know about me, but I sat up in bed. I put my right foot on the floor, because that was the side I got out. I didn't just go straight to having breakfast. There were a number of things I had to do. Have a think about that. How did you get into your other clothes if you were in pajamas? I'm going to give you 2 more minutes, well, maybe a minute and a half, and then we're going to swap these. I like it. You got logical thinking there. What we got? But which hand? Oh. So, what I would like you to do, so if everybody stops there, don't worry if you haven't finished your morning. There's plenty more of the afternoon to go. Anyway, just kidding. I would like you, if you can you swap with somebody next to you for a moment? I understand that might not be possible in some situations. If you cannot swap, don't worry. What I want you to think about is the problem, the algorithm you have just come up with. I can almost guarantee, only because I've walked around the room, that many people will have not decomposed the problem deep enough. So, how did you get up? How many people have actually said they put their right foot on the floor and then their left foot on the floor, then stood up? Some people have just said, get up out of bed. That's the abstraction. All right? How many of you have said, take off pajamas? How did you take off your pajamas? Did you use your right hand to unbutton? Did you use your left hand to unbutton? So what I want you to do now is have a look at that problem. If you have been able to get in pairs, look at ways that you could make that more detailed. How can you, just next to it, you could put PA, which means peer assessment. Try and make that problem even more detailed than it already is. So you are going to look at that algorithm, look at that set of instructions, and you are going to make it even more detailed. You might say, use your right hand, or to walk, put the right foot forward, then put the left foot forward, then put the right foot forward, and then use repetition. Use that key word, use repetition 8 times maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? Have a go at that. And then we'll have a look at some of these. Yeah.
They said that they have left eyelid open.
I like that. How are we going on? So,
We've exchanged our sheets.
okay. So, they've said, does that say hit the alarm? Hear the alarm. Sorry. Hear the alarm. Open your eyes. Hand under the pillow with right hand.
Pick the phone up.
With which hand?
With the same hand.
So he needs to put which hand there, so you can improve that there. Yes. Yeah. So, as we're doing this, the point of this exercise is to teach your students about computational thinking. So in the United Kingdom, as you're doing this, we have a number of things that we have to teach our students. We have to teach them what an algorithm is. We have to teach them what decomposition is. So we have to teach them that an algorithm is a detailed set of instructions, and they have to actually be able to write their algorithms independently. They need to be able to break down problems into smaller chunks, and that actually helps filter into their science lessons. Not just computer science, it helps them break down problems in their maths lessons. It helps them be independent learners because we are teaching them the logic around all of it. And this filters into their other subjects. So it's been something that's worked really well in my school. And even if you are trying to help your students become more global citizens, I live in the United Kingdom, but I'm doing a form of dance that's from Ireland. Okay? You could go and reach out to a teacher from Turkey, from Japan. You could reach out to a teacher from Germany. Look at their forms of dance and actually get something cross-curricular, across your countries, something global going. And you can teach them about computational thinking as well. I hope that that's been useful for teaching you how you can make computational thinking a bit more fun and a bit more interesting. And when you get your students up, you can just see the light on their faces and they're beaming and their happiness and they're just having a giggle with it. But they walk away from that lesson and they remember it. That was the lesson we did dancing in, wasn't it? It's that hook that gets them remembering something. So I hope that that's been useful. How many of you found that you could make that problem break that down even more? I'd love to see a raise of hands if you were able to. Exactly. So you're halfway there to computational thinking and becoming logical thinkers. So well done. Give yourselves a round of applause. Right. So to finish off, I'm going to show you a piece of technology. So this bit, I'm going to talk a little bit about how I use technology in my lessons. Now, I just want to start by saying technology is amazing if it's used right. I've been into schools where they've used technology. Let's buy iPads for all of our students. But they don't actually look at why they need them. They don't look at the purpose. You need to look at what your students are going to get from it. You need to know what the outcome is before you do it. Now, with my students, I try a lot of technologies, but I'm reflective with it. If that hasn't worked, if it's just been a gimmick, I drop it, and I don't run with it. And I will say the same to you. Try something once. If it doesn't work, okay, maybe try it 2 or 3 more times. But if it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere, find something different to engage them. Don't actually stand there and just keep using something because it's a gimmick, okay? I use something called a Makey Makey Kit. Now what it is it's this little electronic board. And in the UK, it's about 30, 40 pounds, and you can even get them second-hand cheaper. And the way it works is this little board, you can connect up to fruit, tin foil, and you can actually get your students making game controllers. I mean, one thing that I've made here, all it is it's a keyboard, okay? Up, down, left, right, and spacebar. It emulates a computer keyboard. Now, there are programs you can make in Scratch, if any of you have used Scratch before, okay? There are programs that are really simple that you can get your students to code, and they can make game controllers. You can teach them about how design and technology, making something ergonomic, the anthropometrics, how you can fit the hand better. Now, this here is a simple keyboard, which I'm just going to show you. I know I'm running out of time, but I've built some question time in for you guys. So all I do is I touch the orange. This is where this isn't going to work. And the sort of things that you can do with it is I've made quizzes for my students, okay? And I've helped some of the modern foreign languages to make vocab tests so they can actually use the bananas, and we replicate the code. So when it's clicked and there's other code on there, just drag and drop the blocks in using something called Scratch, and you can make quizzes for your students to come up and play with the bananas to answer the questions. It's like having an interactive whiteboard, really, but it's just something that's a bit more interesting when you get the bananas going. So I've always liked to use technology in my lessons. I like to make it fun. I like to use dance. But what I thought, the most important thing that you need to remember is if your students have fun, and if you can make the content more fun for them, they're going to want to be in school. They're going to want to be in your classrooms, and you're going to be able to actually get your message across a lot more effectively. I want to thank you for coming to watch this masterclass. I hope it's been useful to you guys. If you want to get some discussions going, there's my email address, and that's me on Twitter. I've now got about 4.5 minutes if any of you would like to ask me any questions about how I use technology in the classroom. Thank you very much. Do we have any questions?
But I want to ask, there is sometimes the fun, will the student engaged in just fun and forget the main goal for the lesson?
I'll be honest.
Young, maybe they just want fun.
Okay.
So this is a problem for the teacher. I do it sometimes, and they are engaged in fun, and they didn't want to listen to complete again, anything again.
I will say with anything that you do, thank you for that, sir. So what the lovely lady was just saying there is sometimes when we make lessons too fun, we've got the worry and the danger of actually getting your students calmed back down, okay? Now, what I say with that is you need to set clear, I don't mean for this to sound patronizing, but talk to your students and say, this sort of activity we're going to do, okay? I'm respecting you by listening to what you want, but this activity can't happen unless we've got a common ground going. You can set boundaries in place, and you can even set up little, like, for my younger students, you can have little rule charts going, okay, and actually refer to it and say, but while we're doing the fun activities, you've got to keep coming back to the learning. You've got to keep just going back and saying, so why are we doing this? So notice there when I was doing the dance with them, I kept going back to them and saying, I haven't given you detailed instructions. That's not a good algorithm. You've got to take that approach to it. Oh, is it gone?
Yeah, that you have resources on the internet, or you create these ideas from yourself.
Because I do Irish dance, this idea was from myself. But if you want to see, if you want me to post more ideas, I will put it on my blog so that you can see a lesson plan of how to do that. I'm more than welcome to share any resources with anybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.
doing fun dancing activities during the class, that's a plus for the students, for the teacher, and for the education system in general. Now, what's any alternative for the handicapped students? You know, we have to share it with everybody.
Yeah.
Now, handicap, is any other way that we can let them to melt in this kind of system dancing?
It depends on how you are saying handicap. There are different ways we can approach it. So, say for example, they can't get up and do this dance.
Right. But we have to share you know, we're not gonna let them just watch and that's it.
Yeah. How many of you have heard of the Hokey Cokey? Right. It's a dance, right? You put your right arm in, your right arm out, in, out, shake it all about. You do hokey cokey. Right?
Good.
But there are simpler things that you can do. Right. And the more you break it down, the more they'll understand it. And that's why I came back to this activity as well, because we all have a morning routine that we do. We can write that down and think about the instructions. But then, where you can take it, I've got 50 seconds left. Where you can take it is you can actually get them to make a dance up for the teacher. So there's been times where I've had to do a dab. I don't know if any of you heard of this, right? And I just play like, I don't know what a dab is. You've got to explain it. Oh, put your right shoulder up a bit, we'll put your elbow out. So then it's like, so there's a lot of, so you can get the students to program you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Any other questions? I've got 20 seconds.
Thank you so much. I am wondering how you manage the time, because the more activities you engage in, the more time it requires. How do you strike a balance between engagement and time management in terms of coverage?
So technology can be your most effective tool. One way that I give my students feedback is actually I record it through a microphone in some cases. They've got OneNote files on their computer, and I can actually say, right, so to improve that, you need to do this. And it saves me from all that time writing as well. So technology can be your most effective use. Also, get the students to mark each other's work. It cuts your workload in half. And last thing, you can get digital leaders going in your school. That's what I did. So my students actually plan lessons for using technology in other teachers' lessons, and they share them with the teacher about what they want, and it gives the students a voice. So think about starting a digital leaders program in your school. Okay? Okay, my time's run out. Thank you so much for having me.